What is up, gang? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. What was that music? That was very different. I guess it's been like 2 weeks since I technically went live, but doing the 30-second countdown for those who know and have seen this very at this point famous countdown from StreamYard, that threw me off big time. It was okay, music was okay, but I like the other one. I don't know, I gotta look at my settings, maybe it's an option I gotta switch back to. Anyways, we are here for Comic Collector Origins tonight. This is season 2, episode 10, and wow, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm not sure when I'm gonna stop the season. I've been, for those who've been following along, doing these every other week or so. It's been working out for my schedule. It seems to be working for everyone else's schedule as far as my guests go. Maybe this goes on at least until the summertime, and then I'll I don't know, change it up. But either way, if you guys are new, Comic Collector Origins is all about you, the collector, and learning more about your origin story. This is the show where I bring on friends and people that I met through the community, through Instagram and through YouTube, and I have them on as a guest, and I simply ask them questions about how they got into this great hobby. So that's kind of where this whole thing is stemmed from. And it's just been an awesome journey, as I always talk about at the beginning of every episode. It's just been so cool. If you guys have been following me, all the awesome people I've met and really have made some true friends through just this show alone. Amongst everything else that we do at the channel, on this channel, and I do on other people's channels. This particular show is such a special one to me because of all the amazing people that I've met and just got to know their stories, how they got started, where they're at right now with the hobby. It's different for everybody. And it's just cool to kind of hear the different angles of how they got introduced to the comic books and into the characters and into the stories and artists and so on and so forth. So again, I appreciate everybody who's always been tuning in and always supporting the channel. Much love. And hey, I know I haven't been doing as many lives. We've been taking a little bit of a hiatus for our Omni X-Men show, which 2-week break. We'll be back this upcoming Tuesday, me and John from Caits.Comics with Kids. But I have been putting out a lot of reels. So if you guys, or I guess shorts on YouTube, but if you guys have liked any of them, let me know what you think. If you like the new kind of format that I've been doing here and over on Instagram, just having fun with it, trying to figure out a new cool way to show off my collection. So seems like it's been getting some good feedback, but appreciate everybody's support. So tonight, yes, I have a guest tonight who, if you didn't see the thumbnail or you didn't see the title already, it is a girl who I've known now for, I want to say, about maybe a little over a year, just meeting through Instagram. And I don't know how, but we missed each other at Terrificon and probably other Comic Cons at this point, because she's on the East Coast as I am. But I'm really excited for my guest. She has a ton of knowledge to comics as a whole. She's also a true bringer of the community when it comes to Instagram and the comic underground, which I will talk on a little bit more. But if you don't know who I'm talking about, I am talking about my good friend Cait from Caits.Comics. Cait.
Hey! Hi,
what's
everyone.
Up?
How are y'all doing?
Good. How you doing, Cait?
I am doing pretty well. It's been a good week so far, and I think a lot more fun throughout it. And
Nice.
For those of you who are little monsters, excited for the new Gaga release this week.
Yes, nice. I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was coming out this week, but that's awesome. I love Lady Gaga, and got to see her in Vegas last year, or 2 years ago now at this point.
That is freaking awesome.
She was amazing, and it was her jazz rendition. It wasn't even like her typical stuff, so it was very unique. It was like Sinatra. She was covering a bunch of amazing jazz artists and stuff like that, so it was really cool. But anyways, hey, I am excited that you're here. And for anyone who's watching right now, or if you're watching the replay, we appreciate it. Make sure you are following Cait. I put her information in the description below. Hit her up over on Instagram. Cait, we're going to learn a lot about you tonight. You are crushing it over on Instagram. I
Thank
love the
you.
stuff that you do over there. And I truly mean it. I mean, I see you bring the community together. So many people, always reaching out, saying hi to you, and showing up for your shows and your live streams and everything else. So it's been really cool to see that and to see you grow. Again, I feel like I've known you for about a year or so that I can recall, as far as just like, seeing all the things that you're doing and staying connected with you on the books and stuff that you're reading. So it seems like it's been a journey, and definitely want to dive in a little bit more. But I do want to thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me, and hi everybody. Thanks for all the love in the chat. Excited to see everybody here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say a quick hello to the chat, and then we'll get into the fun questions. I see my man Eric, Caits.Comics. What's going on, Eric? Good to see you. Says let's go. My man Matt and Clemson also hanging out tonight. Good to see you, Matt, as always. Philly Phil in the chat says 2 community greats. Justin and Kay, appreciate you, Phil. Hope all is well. Let's see, the comic collector coach in the house as well. Hello. Appreciate you hanging out. Cait pulling double duty in the chat. Oh, love to see it. Let's see, scrolling through, seeing everybody saying hi to everybody. Four Corners Comics in the chat. What is going on, Four Corners? Hello. Been talking back and forth with them a little bit here and there. Very cool to see you here. We got Hall Yeah Comics. That's one of my favorite YouTube names. I'm pretty sure.
I think so too.
It is like perfect. So good to see you, Hall Yeah. Appreciate you hanging out tonight as well. Let's see. Side quest says, and all the food talk. Yeah, that's why you do this. That's true. Yeah, we'll be talking food here in a little bit, Cait. Let's see. Conlin Comics, my man Stevie hanging out in the chat as well. Happy Wednesday. Happy new comic book day. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. AZB in the chat. Hello. Thanks for hanging out. There you go. The Queen. Community is better with a queen. Yep, agreed. All right, love all the love that I'm seeing here. Again, if you guys are not already following Cait, make sure you do so over on Instagram. I put her information in the description below. I do want to shout out the Comic Underground, which is I knew you were a member of, and as we get through this, I definitely want you to share a little bit more about the crew that you have as well. But before we get into everything else, Cait, let's just start with the start of your origin story. Where did it start for you? How old were you? Do you recall kind of the early books or comics or other influences that kind of got you into this hobby as a whole?
Yeah, I think for people who, I know particularly through Instagram, a lot of them would be kind of surprised that the early books that I read growing up, I like wasn't really a collector, but just kind of like a kid who, when you stumbled across a comic, it didn't matter what issue or what story it was. I still am a huge reader, so I would just pick up one and go
Love it.
and go for it. But what I mostly read were books at my grandmother's house. She came to the United States from Quebec, Canada, and did not know English and learned it really through like comics and other books with
Oh,
like pictures and things to help out.
cool.
And she raised 2 boys, so it was a lot of GI Joe, which I read. Which again, I mostly read and collect a lot of female characters, so
Love it.
probably not one people would expect. And then a lot of those Archie digests, which
Classics.
you know just love the shenanigans. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are my early ones, and then started collecting, I would say about maybe 2 or so years ago, having watched the Harley Quinn animated series
Oh,
on HBO Max. They had the tie-in Eat Bang Kill
yes. Nice.
run. And I
Very
was like,
nice.
you know what? Let me just, I know there's a comic shop down, down the block. Went, grabbed this and kind of stayed there. And,
Amazing.
picked out a couple other things once I started reading that, and really haven't turned back since.
Holy smokes. So you're saying 2 years ago is where you really started to dive in and start.
Yeah, definitely some things
Amazing.
here and there. I read a couple of the runways.
Okay.
a little bit before that,
Yep.
who I only recently realized was Brian Vaughn, who now huge fan of, but yeah.
Yeah, you are. I've been following your journey
Yep.
through your saga journey, which that was one of the things I had brought. I had some of the hardcovers of
Oh man, those
Saga.
are gorgeous. I actually have my giant compendium underneath my laptop. I normally
Oh,
stream from my phone, but I needed a little something to bring it up.
nice, nice.
Yeah,
That hey, that's multiple usage of how you
exactly.
can use these books for. I love it. You know, it's been cool to see your journey. You're ahead of me, by the way, now at this point, with Saga. I have three of the hardcovers altogether,
Mhm.
two of them that I just held up. The third one it's actually still wrapped in its seal. I got off it for a bit. I was reading some other things and I enjoyed it so much. I also like didn't want it to end, that kind of vibe, you know.
Oh, I
Um,
do that a lot where I'll, like, kinda end on, like, the last episode
Yeah,
of
because
something
you
or
don't, yeah, you
issue.
don't want it to
Don't
end.
want it to end.
So, it's cool that you've been loving it as much as you have, and, I definitely, I need to catch up now, and then I wanna hear more of your thoughts on that, but it's been cool to kinda see you go through that. But so going back to, like, okay, so 2 years ago, and you kinda stumble in thanks to Harley Quinn and the crew from what you were watching, you, pick up this book, you picked up a bunch of other books, and you just got into it, you just started to love just reading and learning more about all these different characters. And because I'll tell you right now, from your collection alone,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, clearly Kate's been around, you know, she's been collecting for, you know, 20 plus years. She's a pro.
Nope, nope, not the
No,
case,
it's
not the
awesome.
case. Yeah.
No, but it's so cool to see that. And again, and I think in terms of like for anybody who might be new or just getting into this hobby that might be overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, I feel like my collection needs to be better, or it's going to take me forever to have the collections that everybody else has, or whatever. And it seems like you've been doing very well. And again, for only under 2 years, is amazing. So,
Thank you, thank
uh,
you. I really like the idea of just collect what you enjoy and kind of go down different paths because you never know what you might enjoy reading or a certain art style that you haven't explored. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Every time something catches my fancy, I'm like, all right, let me try that out.
give it a shot. I love
Yeah.
it. I love to hear it. So what about you know, have you been into from a I guess from a movie and film side of things, was Marvel or DC, did any were you following any of that stuff, even maybe even before you got into comic books, were you into a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff?
I think Um, I watched all the MCU movies. I think maybe the first one I saw in theaters was probably Captain America, which that trilogy, my
Yep.
absolute favorite
Yep. I'm
from
with
the
you.
MCU. And then always grew up with DC, particularly the animated series.
Oh yeah, nice.
One of the things that I enjoy really collecting are all the Batman animated series, different runs, and then sequels and spin-offs that come in comics. And my one of my favorite characters came from it. So definitely a lot of the movies and TV shows have a well-watched HBO Max account.
Yeah, I love it. No,
Yeah.
that's really cool. And that's I felt like that was kind of the same for me as far as, you know, I was always following, you know, the MCU and things like that. But I mean, I wasn't into I got into comics about 6 years ago. So you know, I'm
Wow,
not
I did not
too
realize
far ahead
that
of you.
either.
Yeah, and I it was actually like the thing that really, I mean, I have a story and it kind of got me into it, but the what I was really following closely was like the Netflix series for Daredevil, when that was going on.
So good. Did you
And
stay
that
up last night?
yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, I was tired too. I was like, oh man, but I was like so hooked.
I
Um,
gotta that's my weekend,
yes,
fix,
yeah.
that's what I got scheduled.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, so stuff like that, like, it really helped streamline, or motivate me to, like, try different directions of characters. I was reading a lot of Daredevil when I first got into comics, and that was just because I knew it from the big screen, and, you know, and obviously the MCU stuff, that all was very I was very much into that. So it's cool to hear, yeah, you were very still tied into a lot of the animated DC stuff. I definitely watched, I feel like I watched a lot of that growing up,
Mhm.
and I remember like seeing that on like Blu-ray when it was coming out and DVD when I worked in like a CD and DVD store, you know, like 10 plus years ago. And I remember like wanting to like get back into the, or, you know, just buy all the DVDs or the Blu-ray up and all that other stuff. And even now I see that they're coming out with new stuff and I probably should catch up on more of that because
They're putting out some good stuff right now. I have high hopes for, some of the Cape Crusader and Creature Commandos and what's up
Nice.
next. Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Real quick, want to say hello to I saw my man Trev in the chat. Trev, the shipping guru. What's going on, Trev? Good to see you. Scrolling through here, my man Chet Knight hanging out in the chat as well. What's up, Chet? It says, hi, Kate. It's baseball season. I don't have to say hi to Justin. That's fair. Chet, that's fair. We're gonna be button heads all season, buddy. Be ready. Good to see you though. Appreciate it. Let's see. So what about oh, I wanted to talk to you about Comic Cons. So as you heard in the intro, like I'm
I
pretty
can't
sure,
believe it. We must
yeah.
have like walked right by each other.
Yes, yes, seriously. So you're based in Connecticut, right? Or you're up in that area? Okay,
Yep.
so I love Connecticut. I go to my wife and I go to Mohegan Sun fairly often. We love it up there. So between that and Foxwoods, we're like probably a little over 2 hours away as far as the drive
Not too
goes.
bad. Yeah.
So it's not bad at all. So yeah, I wanted to ask, was that or because I remember you posting about it, and I think that's where I first like kind of came across your page and everything was just from Terrificon. But was that your first Comic Con, or was there other ones before that, or
Oh,
what was which?
that would be really the first like
Oh, cool.
bigger con that I've been to,
Oh, all right.
and then a couple of more really local ones. But I'm really stoked. I'll be at King's Con in
What,
was
in
it
2
2
weeks?
weeks? Yeah,
Yes, you're coming down. All
yeah,
right,
yeah. I was
I'll
like,
be
oh, that's
there.
not too far. Awesome. This
Oh, that's so
time
cool.
I'll
Yeah,
be.
yeah. Where are you, Kate?
Yep.
That's awesome. So cool. Yeah, that's my buddy Greg, MTG Greg. He puts it together with a few others, and he runs a great. Have you been? So you haven't been to any King Con?
No, but we're
Yeah. Okay.
actually the Underground is going to be one of the sponsors for it too. So I
Oh,
am
so cool.
stoked. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, see, my man Stevie, he's gonna be there too. Yeah, we it's a great, I mean, it's a great show. It's continued to grow every year. I mean, I think he's had it twice in one of the years recently, but I guess this is technically six, King Kong 6 or King Kong 5, one of the two numbers. But I missed the first one, and then the rest I've been going to ever since, and it's been a lot of fun. So that's cool. You're coming down. So it's not that far, right? It's like, I mean, I assume for you it's under 3 hours or
I'm hoping. I think if I get up early enough.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You should be good.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's gonna be a lot of fun then, and yeah, we're definitely gonna have to hang out. I'll
Absolutely.
keep an eye out for sure. Hey, my friend Jojo in the chat. What is up, Jojo? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, all right, it's cool. So you have that lined up. Do you have any other Comic Cons lined up for the year?
Definitely Terrificon.
Yes. Yep. I'll be back.
And then I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but I think there's gonna have 2 3 Men in a Basement
Yeah,
ones. So I'm hoping to
they
get to
have the
one of them.
crawl. Oh,
They have the
great. Okay.
Crawl and the Sleepy Giant. Is it Sleeping Giant?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The one
It's like
upstate.
in Vermont.
It's
Yeah,
up in New
Vermont
Hampshire or
or New
whatever. Yeah.
Hampshire. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm thinking about that, but
Little Giant.
um,
Little Giant. Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been up there only because it's just so far. It's like a 5+ hour drive, but I hear it's a great show too. But I'm a bit 3 Men in a Basement. They're my brothers. I love those guys. They've been on the channel several times. They're good people, and so yeah. And they have a crawl, as you mentioned,
Mhm.
coming up later this early this year, which I'll be at too. So that'll be cool. Yeah, definitely let me know if you're going to that. Eric here, SideQuest says C2E2. That's his home away from home.
That is one that I would love to hit up. So hopefully
Yeah,
at some point in the future.
definitely worth it, Eric. Eric, I wish I knew you when I went. I guess what was that 2021, 2022. So just missed you. But oh, and Heroes Con he mentions that's down in
South.
Virginia,
There we go.
or yeah, so somewhere down that
Somewhere
area.
down there.
Yeah,
That's one that I'll probably hit at some point.
same.
Got some family kind of close by, so
Oh,
yeah.
nice, nice. So yeah, so it's cool to hear. So Terrificon being your first experience as far as a bigger Comic Con goes. Have you ever been, or have you gone to any since? I guess is my next question.
Yes, again, like pretty small, like local community ones throughout
Okay.
Massachusetts.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah,
Very cool.
there.
Ever consider like New York Comic Con or San Diego one day?
At some point, yes, I think I would be a little overwhelmed
Yeah.
myself stepping into those. And I think for me, I'd rather kind of spread my like money for those a little bit out into some of the smaller ones,
Yeah. That's fair.
and then hit up one of those when something that I really want to see is there.
Good strategy. Good
Yeah.
strategy. Because yeah, you're right. I mean, these things definitely cost a lot of money,
Yep.
and especially if you have to travel, get on a
Exactly.
plane or anything like that. So
Exactly.
yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, Matt says, "Oh yeah, Charlotte. Okay, there it is. Heroes Con,
That's what it is. Yep.
which is his neck of the woods. Yeah, so that's yeah, that'll be. I mean, I'm not going this year, but I know a lot of people are. So that's another one that I would definitely put on my list for at some point. Oh yeah, wow, he's only Matt's. Oh, about an hour 20 from here. Okay, yeah, nice, nice.
Not bad at all.
So Kate, I feel like we're in such a good locate. I mean, already I'm sure from your own experience, like we're in such a good location between New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. Like, I mean, there's so many good shows,
So
and like you
many
said,
good things.
they're not all like massive, and they don't have to be. They can
Yeah.
be these smaller vendor shows that just give you, for me, just enough taste to, go, diving into some bins and talk to some cool people,
You
and
get to meet some really cool artists who, maybe their comic hasn't really popped off, to a massive audience yet, and you get to spend some time and talk with them and hear their experience. And I think uh, that makes it absolutely worthwhile. And then being able to take a lot of time to dive into some books.
oh yeah, absolutely. So, Kate, tell me a little bit about your experience with getting into the Instagram side of things and dipping your toes into, YouTube and just meeting the community. Like, before as you got into comics, like, did you know about the community already? Were you, or how did that look like for you as you started to create an account and stuff?
I had no idea what to expect, other than folks who I've like met in person at comic shops, friends that I have that are into, comics and like MCU. Um, I happened to, start following a couple of things on Instagram from my own personal page.
Mhm.
And really, and I would give this advice to anybody, just kind of put yourself out there. If there's a live, talk to people, give them a follow. Um, if you really like something on someone's page, let them know if you have a similar experience, and then you get to really have these awesome conversations with others, and build up those relationships, and then learn a lot more because there's just so much out there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just sort of took a dive into the deep end and said, all right, let's see who's out there and what's going on. I really had no idea the community that existed. I've kind of always
Right.
thought like comics are probably people a bit older than me and maybe not on social media to the extent, but
Yeah.
no, there's so many people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so cool. It's cool to hear how you kind of tripped into discovering, because that's the same way I and a lot of like people I've asked kind of discovered, the community too. So you're definitely not alone. Did you did you have Kate's period comics, your handle? Did you already have that in mind as you were getting into it, or did you feel like, hey, I'm starting to like a lot more comic stuff, I don't want to mix it with my personal stuff? Like how did you kind of make the decision there?
Yeah, I uh just had a different handle and it was kind of harder to say.
Oh,
Or and you
gotcha.
know how you just kind of get called whatever
Yes,
whatever your
yes.
handle is, and I was like,
Oh, I
all
do.
right, I'm gonna take the initiative, and if this isn't already taken, I'm just gonna make my own name, which is
Smart.
funny because I get called different things sometimes. I get called Cat a lot, I think.
Oh, really? So just
Yeah,
skip the
so I
I.
was just
Skip
like,
the I all the
I'm
way.
gonna put my name and hope that I can find some combo.
There you go.
And yeah, I found it, and I was like, good. Now people will know who I am, and I won't necessarily, just be a name and maybe an image, so people will get to know me a little bit better. Because that's, I think, the most fun thing is being able to um, chat with people about what you enjoy.
Yep, agreed. And yeah, well said. It definitely, you make a good point on the name, and really having people call you out on that name,
Yep.
because I turn anytime I hear the words "no good," anytime, and it comes
No
out more
good,
often.
rotten.
Yes, no, it comes out more often than you think. My wife and I will be watching a movie, and there'll be a line that just says "no good," and I'll like blurt out the word comics, and she just looks at me and like, and I just can't help. But I'm like, well, that's what they're saying. But like, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends who just at this point call me no good, and that's just it's I don't even think twice.
No,
I don't even think twice.
not at all.
So it's a good catch that you were like, you know what, let me just make this, like you said, take the initiative and get ahead of the curve before
Exactly.
you know even though you're still getting nicknames, like you said, if someone calls you Cat, it's like, all right, well,
Yeah,
they're
close.
close. Yeah, close enough. Close enough. Quick hello to my man, Brother John's Comics in the chat. What is going on, Brother John? Good to see you. Yeah, he says, he's talking, they're back and forth between him and Matt. Very cool. Good to see you, man. Yeah, so I think, what was the other thing I was to say? So from there, you are, I know, as I mentioned in the beginning, the Comic Underground, you're a member of. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the Comic Underground and what the crew's all about there?
Yeah, so I was hosting live sales on Instagram prior to that, and then met a few friends, and we decided that we wanted to be able to continue that experience. A few of the sort of founders of our team are sellers. We're all collectors and readers, and we wanted to build a page that could highlight selling comics, but also really focus on building up that community of everybody who we were chatting with in a live sale. Because sometimes I would go in and I didn't buy a single book, but I'd be in there for 2 hours going back
Just
and
hanging
forth
out.
with people and hanging out.
Yeah.
So we decided to kind of create that page. And from there, it just keeps building. We have our coffee chats on the weekend. I've had the absolute pleasure of interviewing artists and having like people reveal the covers that are being published. The last one that I did, it was an artist's first published work. So to be able to work with someone and bring that joy to others with them has been so much fun. But yeah, so we wanted to just kind of build an overall community page, and it has been so much fun. It's been about, I think, 6 months
Wow.
of the page being up, and yeah, it's just been an absolute blast.
That's crazy because I feel, I mean, the way you guys carry the page and everything feels as if you guys have been around for years, which is really cool, and I think says a lot because the way I view the Comic Underground, and I always see you guys are always putting on great shows, and I look at it as, well, at least in the very beginning when I first started to like get more involved with just catching live streams, noticing it wasn't always there's other team members that were always kind of taking turns, but you always had like a good mix of vendors, and there were a lot of vendors I never heard of before, which, like, for the 5.5 years that I've been really into the hobby and into Instagram more specifically, I feel like I've seen a lot of like vendors come and go, and some stick around and some change it up, or a lot of them move over to like Whatnot and other platforms. And so it was really cool to see you introduce a lot of people who for whatever reason I wasn't connected with them. I wouldn't have come across their page otherwise. So thanks to you, I was able to, and I view it as a safe space in a way, because I mean, you guys, it's like you guys vetted them. It's like you have a good relationship with them, they have a good relationship with you. Like, everything is safe game as far as like if you purchase some book or whatever, everybody knows everybody. So it's like,
Exactly.
you're not gonna, if someone's gonna do something bad, they're not gonna get away with it, kind of thing. So that is
Exactly.
also what made me feel comfortable just going in, because I'm like, wow, like you just the environment you guys created. So it's really cool. But then, like you said, all these other things you do, I know you guys even highlight community members, right? You have a community spotlight that you
Yeah,
put up from
we
time to
just
time.
figured, again, especially people who maybe aren't like hosting live sales or streaming themselves often,
Mhm.
maybe don't get a chance to kind of be like the man behind. They were just kind of like the man behind the curtain.
Sure.
So we ask people from the community to nominate people who just are awesome and that other people should know about. And we, ask them some questions, highlight their what they collect, what kind of brought them into this, where to find them, what brings them a lot of joy, and just kind of hope that we can continue to build those relationships between people, even just beyond like buying and selling comic books.
It's awesome. I love it. The other thing you mentioned before we went live was that you had started a book club. Is that part of the Comic Underground? Is that more of something you're doing yourself, or what does that look like?
Yeah, um Obviously, I'm a huge nerd. I was a high school teacher for
Nice.
7 years out of college.
Cool.
I really love reading. I started book clubs when I was a teacher with other teachers and
Mm.
parents at the school that I was working with. And I was like, I just don't know of, and there could be. I was like, I don't know of any like comic book clubs through Instagram. I kind of asked around folks a little bit, and I was like, is there one? I really would love to be able to share some books and be able to talk about it. Put out a little poll on my page, and I just the other day took everybody's name and information that I've gotten and started a chat, and we're starting to figure out what days to be able to meet, probably like a once a month type of deal, and picking out one or two books that we all get to read, ones that are easily accessible, and can kind of share about.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And yeah, I mean, I feel like it's funny that you put it out there as like, is there a club out there, or do people kind of do this, or anyone have an idea of that? And I feel like I've seen and even been part of them for just really anything, but never ever, like, I guess, deemed it as a book club per se. But it is. I mean, John, me and John from John's Comics with Kids, we
Mhm.
do
Yeah,
Omni X-Men, and that's that is straight up a book club for Chris Claremont X-Men. That's straight up, and because we get the same crew that comes in every Tuesday, and we all have a good time, and same kind of rotating guests and everything else. And yeah, we're just like, everybody loves the same thing. We're all there for the same reason. And we just kind of kicked it off, and everybody kind of found us, and that it just kind of worked. But I feel like yours is way more organized, which is great to be able to, like, kind of gather everybody's information and see about days and times when people are. So it's cool. But yeah, I had mentioned to you in the back, definitely let me know more about it later. I would love
Absolutely.
to,
I'm
dive in
looking
more.
forward to reading things that I wouldn't normally read, or
Yeah.
pick up myself. So very excited.
100%. That's what I love most about it is, and there's definitely been times where I find something that's entertaining, or that I start to get curious about, that I want to read, and I just reach out to a friend who turns out they're also kind of getting into it. Like me and my buddy Brandon from Mon Comics, we're
Mhm.
doing the Aliens versus Avengers series right now, and it's a modern book coming out.
Yeah.
It's only 3 issues out now, and it's only 4 total, but we've been like stringing it along. And but he and we were just like, you want to read that? I want to read that. Like, let's talk about it. And we just,
Exactly.
and then, but other people would join in and start
Mhm.
watching, and so it's like, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. And I told you like when before we kicked it off, like, that's my favorite thing to do in this hobby, is to not just read the comics, but then get to talk to my friends about the comics.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I love it. So yeah, definitely. And for anybody watching, if anyone's
Yeah,
interested
just
in
let
the
me
book
know,
club,
and
yeah.
I'll add anybody into it.
There you go. Let's see. My man Mark is in the chat. What's going on, Mark? He says, high school teacher. God bless you.
Now I work at a college instead, but
There you
yeah,
go.
was a high school teacher for a bit there.
Very cool. Colin talking about the mispronunciation of names from before. Yeah, worst part of my name. Everybody gets Colin, all right, right? Colin, have I been saying it wrong this whole time, Colin? You got to tell me.
As soon as you said it, I was like, maybe I've said it wrong.
Unless he's referring to other names. Brother John thinks that's a great idea. There you go.
Thank you.
And yeah, good point. Yeah, a very addictive and expensive book club. It can be, unless you have good friends like you, Conlon, who has given me a book. He and I are gonna kick off one here soon. I gotta open the box that's on the side. I was gonna do an unboxing, but time's flown
That's
by.
so
But
fun. You love a good swapsy.
yeah. He's sorry, The Watchmen. He sent me The Watchmen, like the original of The Watchmen, which I
Whoa,
never watched,
you're in for a
never read.
treat.
Yeah. I've seen the movie, and I loved it. I just never took the time to watch it. So, we'll be on a YouTube channel near you, me and Colin. Let's see. Eric says, you're we just oh yeah, you're right, we just show up and go over all the cover. Yeah, there it is.
Also
And you're not
valid.
alone. Yeah, exactly. So speaking of speaking of comic books, typically I like to ask my guests to bring on a book, something that means something very special to them. I know you said you had a couple, so if you have one or two that you want to show here, and just kind of share a little bit about why they're special to you.
Yeah, absolutely. One that I was able to grab pretty recently I probably have embarrassingly like almost 20 copies of this book in my PC of, different versions of it.
I love it.
But
Oh, yes.
my favorite comic cover and one of my favorite stories is Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 7.
Nice.
I also collect a lot of the homages of this cover.
Yeah.
But I was recently able to grab one with George Perez's signature. He's my favorite artist.
Amazing.
And I've just had my eye on this forever. So actually, the first slab I ever got was a copy of this book. So
Oh, no way.
one
That's so
that's
cool.
just means a lot to my comic journey.
Yeah, that's so cool. And a 9.4, really beautiful copy. Nice signature on the front. I like that he had done it
Perez
on the
did a
Crisis.
great job with not like across the
Yeah.
character's face or
Yeah. Yeah,
upside
yeah.
down in a corner.
They leave the artwork as is, right?
Exactly, exactly.
No, that's so cool. And yeah, congrats on that. That's really,
Oh,
really
thank you.
cool. I wish that I had taken time to meet Perez. I was on a line next to his line, and I was meeting
Oh man,
Starling
I mean,
back in
pretty cool.
2019. Yeah,
Pretty
and I
cool
remember
line
seeing,
too.
but I remember like looking over and seeing him with his fans. Like he was like going around the table and like hugging people, and like he just seemed so
Such a cool dude.
personable and, yeah, outgoing and friendly and likable. And it's so sad. I mean, obviously rest in peace. I when I was talking to my last guest, Bobby Delegato, he and I were talking about Perez and a few other artists throughout just throughout these past few years and stuff. And yeah, he's definitely someone who I've continued to grow more and more of appreciation for every time I see his artwork. So it's cool that he means so much to you, and that book means so much to you. I will admit I've never read that book before, so shame on me. I know that's, like I said, I've read a lot, but
There's a
not that
lot of
much.
books.
Yeah, there's
No
a lot of
shame.
books. I'm like,
No
yeah.
shame. It's a lot of books out there.
But I definitely recognize. I mean, I've seen that a million times, and I know, Crisis is such a big talking point, for what had happened in those books. So, probably something I should add to my read list at some point. But yeah, that's really great. A lot of love in the chat too, by the way.
Thanks, guys.
Colin, such an iconic cover and signed. Yes, and signed.
Yeah, I'm not even a big signature person, but since he was my fave and it was my favorite book, I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta find a copy.
Yeah, absolutely. My man Chinmo in the chat. What is going on, Chinmo? He says, great book. Absolutely. Eric saying, food questions coming. Eric, not yet. Eric, not yet. You're jumping the gun. So yeah, very cool. Was there another book that you had? I know you mentioned you had a couple. If you wanna show a couple, you're more than welcome.
Another one, just because I recently grabbed it. I know we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I am late to the game with the
All
Saga
good.
series, but I just happened to stumble upon a really good deal on the compendium.
Amazing.
And everybody I know is always like, you should read it. You would like it. And they were all absolutely correct. This is my favorite cover from the series.
Nice.
I think it's gorgeous. And then if you have read it, the tie-in with the sort of fantasy novel, so that being kind of the cover with the two main characters.
Yep.
A couple people I've been kind of on the hunt, and they reached out, and I was able to grab a copy. So very, very stoked
Amazing.
with that. Yeah.
It's a great, and Fiona Apple, she is just amazing. Her work
So good.
is so good. Yeah, like I really need to like see what else she's done, because I've never. I mean, that was my sell on as a big part of that book was her artwork there, and yeah, just so talented, and yeah, all the covers. I think so. Little story for Saga from my perspective. Saga was actually one of the first comic book series that I went after and started reading when I got into comics. Other than like Marvel and DC certainly had my attention, but I didn't know that like there were these other books that were not Marvel and DC per se, and
I know what you mean. I was like,
yeah. So like, and I don't even remember who had first mentioned it to me, but I just remember hearing a little bit more about kind of what it was, and it sounded really interesting. And a friend of mine posted on Facebook. Again, this is literally like within the first year that I was starting to really collect and read comics. He posted on Facebook. He was someone who I played Magic the Gathering with years ago. So he wasn't even like he and I never talked comics or anything, but he posted a thing saying that he had issues 1 through 30, I think 1 through 30. and he was cleaning his house and found them under his bed, and he's like, I'm looking to get rid of these if anybody wants them. And I was like, yeah. I was like, you have 1 through 30. And at that time I remember issue 1 was worth like $250 or something
Oh
like
yeah.
that,
That
in
one
like a
I do not
9 to 8.
have.
So I was like, yeah, I mean, how much are you looking for? He's like, well, I don't know, just throw me a price. And like, I consider him a friend, and I didn't want to like,
Offend
just
them.
rob them or anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm like, all right, well, that I know that first issue can be a lot, assuming the condition. I was like, I don't know what the condition is of any of these, but and he's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, what? He's like, I don't care. And it was like 30 copies. So I'm like, how about like $150? Now at that point, I've never spent $150 on anything comic, like not that much,
Yeah.
So that was a lot, and it is a lot in general, $150. But so he sold it to me, and I met him and picked him up and brought him back, whatever. And and so it turns out I took that issue 1. Clearly he had read them one time and then he just never read them again. I sent that in, and it came back as a 9.8 for CGC.
Wow.
So I
That's
had that.
incredible.
So I was like tempted to send them all in because they were all like that, but I'm like, that's like crazy. And I wanted to read it. So I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, well, let me not like do all. And then I
Put
got these
yourself in the same
hardcovers.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got the hardcovers. I'm like, all right, but I definitely, I mean, I definitely recognize that cover, and I love, especially those early covers,
So
were
good.
so good. Yeah. And that whole, I mean, as far as a reading standpoint goes, you're just hooked, right? Like right from the beginning,
Yeah,
can't
I
put it
didn't
down.
the first night I got it, I think I went like 15 issues in and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna have to slow myself down so I can enjoy it.
Yep. Yeah, you were. I mean, like I said, even the other day when you were posting, you're at whatever issue. I'm like, whoa, like you definitely flew by me now at this point. Now you're at covers that I barely recognize, or don't know the scenario.
Yeah.
Um, Brother John, yeah. Fiona Staple, or oh, I said Fiona Apple.
You
Sorry,
know
the
what?
artist.
Criminal's a great song. You're all good.
You guys know what I meant. Yeah, Fiona Stable. Yeah, Fiona. That's so funny. Phil says, yeah, Saga, best modern story in the 2000s. Absolutely,
Starting to
Brother John.
think so, yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan is such a brilliant writer. I love all his stuff for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I do want to check
Um,
out. Did he do Paper Girls?
oh,
Oh,
maybe
that's
I
that's on my soon to read list as well. So
yeah, that's another one I've heard was always a good read. Very cool, very cool. Well, I want to switch it up a little bit here, Kate, because I do want to ask you before we get into rapid fire questions. If you could give one piece of advice to someone new that was just starting to get into the hobby, we had talked about it earlier, even just maybe they're overwhelmed or they don't know how to get started, or any angle. There's no wrong answer, but what piece of advice would you give to that individual?
I think I would just say like have your own comic journey. If you're new and you are in Instagram, you might see someone's collection and they have books that are worth, way more than you even thought you could spend on a comic.
Mm,
And I would say collect what you enjoy, find some things, and then also try and meet friends who can, recommend things, but also give you advice so that, you don't stumble upon something that maybe looks like a good buy at the time, but you're not aware, or, you know, can kind of guide you around some things that I know as a person who was pretty new. You didn't know everything about comics. What is a grade? What is a slab? I remember the first time I saw a slab
sure.
and I was like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah.
why would you do that? And talk to
Right.
people about kind of the point of that. And
Right.
I would just say, yeah, try and meet people, and collect what I know everybody says it, but really collect what you love because that's what you're going to have.
Yeah.
So you got to get what you're going to enjoy. And really, there's no shame. So some people don't read. Some people, buy only books they're looking to read and then
Yep.
throw in a stack, and who knows what them after. And any journey is fun as long as you're doing what you're enjoying.
That's very true. Yeah, I love it. Well said. Yeah, and one thing too that you had pointed out, even when you were talking about from a social media standpoint, and just diving into the community, I love that you had said to just kind of put yourself out there, or leave comments and share genuinely like your opinion of what someone put out there. You like that book? Say, hey, that's a great book. Because yeah, that's how I started, and I feel like it just
Made
kind of
some
came.
great friends.
Yeah, like it just comes full circle. Like everybody started, like once I started to post books, they had come over to my page and just started doing the same thing. And that's also how you discover like how someone feels about a writer or an artist. Like, oh, if you like that writer, you're posting about this book. Oh, then you definitely got to go check that other book out or whatever. And that's how that, just stems and kind of goes from there. So,
Absolutely.
I know some people who don't, they don't feel comfortable putting themselves out there for whatever the reason is, and that's totally fine. But yeah, like you definitely, the more you kind of give in or put into it, the more you can get out of it as far as connection
Absolutely.
goes and things like that. So, yeah, very cool. Some other comments here. Brian Kivong never missed, for sure. Philly Paper Girls is rad. Yep. Um, Eric's just have fun with it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Great chat. Hopefully I'll never change. Good night.
You,
Appreciate it,
Phil.
Phil. Appreciate you. Have a good night, man. Um, so yeah, okay. So Brother John says Paper Girls, Runaways, was it Mechina?
Machina, yep.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that is quite a lineup.
Oh, Why the Last Man? Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that too. Yeah, very cool. Colin says, well said. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, very cool. I want to get into the rapid fire segment. Yeah. So again, want to remind everybody, if you're not following Kate, make sure you do so. Her information is in the description below. So Kate, I know you've seen the show before. I try to change it up a little bit as far as comic book related stuff, non-comic book related stuff. I'm gonna throw it your way first with just if you could have one superpower, what would that superpower be?
Ooh. Let me think. I do think manipulating reality does sound pretty fun.
Ooh.
Not for like evil things, but
Right,
I
right.
do think having watched WandaVision, I was like, damn, I just hadn't really read a lot about her character.
Mm.
And just kind of being able to see that the cool things that she can do outside of some of the horrible things. I was just like, wow, imagine what things could look like if you kind of could change it.
Like warp reality. Yeah, no, that's a
Yeah,
great. No one so far on my show has ever gave that answer. So
yeah.
it's a great answer and one that I just never really even considered. So it's great to even
Like,
hear
you want
that.
to go do something? Well, you can kind of make it happen.
Yes, yeah, yeah. You have total control, and just make it. Hey, you're having a bad day at work. You can completely flip that around.
Exactly. Now you're on the beach.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Oh, my man Noah in the chat, Broke Boy Comments. Good to see you, Noah. Says he'll catch the
You
rewind.
know what?
Appreciate you, man. Uh, oh, there was a question I had totally missed. Oh, Mark, I wanted to highlight this before too. Mark, this is not part of my rapid fire, but Mark had asked. He said, "What do you teach in college?"
I do not teach in college. I work in a registrar's office. I
Okay,
help students get on the path to graduate. So I work with
nice.
ones who maybe are a little bit behind, or people who have walked away from education and are hoping to kind of step back. And I kind of go over plans to help them finish.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Thanks for the question, Mark. Appreciate it. SideQuest says, "Man, everyone has better answers than mine was." Come on, Eric. Uh, don't feel bad. Everybody, there's no wrong answer, dude. There's no
They're
wrong
really
answer.
no.
Um, let's see. Oops, I just clicked the wrong thing. All right, next question. If you could, all right. So this is, I'm very curious where you're gonna go with this question because I feel like your collection, you have a lot in terms of the directions you go. So if you could travel back in time and choose or literally any year, any date, and buy one comic book off the shelf at cover price to bring back
Oh,
with you to the present day, you could never sell it. It has to go to the grave with you, but you at least would have a mint conditioned book of whatever you could. What would that comic book be for you?
probably be an Action 252. Supergirl is my favorite superhero.
Mm,
Um, Not
nice.
necessarily my favorite character, but one that is a little hard, like to be able to attain that would be
Yeah,
amazing. And in a high quality, like to flip through that,
Yes.
oh, that would be absolutely so cool.
That is a great choice. I love Supergirl. I've been a fan for a while now. Been trying to collect her adventure comics appearances and everything else that she's done from that era. And yeah, to go back I mean, this is a perfect, excuse to be able to go back and get a minty copy of that beautiful book. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Eric, he called it Supergirl 1. There you
You
go.
got it.
Yeah, no, that's a great I mean, that's definitely on my list still. I would love to have even a very low grade, copy
Crumpled
of
up.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. If I'll take it.
Crunchy, that's fine.
I'll take it. I will take a
Yep,
well-loved book any day.
exactly.
So yeah, very cool. So you mentioned favorite superhero, but not favorite character per se. Who's your favorite character?
Gotta go with Poison
Poison
Ivy.
Ivy. Yes, very
My
nice.
absolute favorite character. And if you haven't been reading her current run, absolutely recommend hopping into that.
G. Willow Wilson, right? She has
Yeah,
been killing it from what I've heard. I read the
absolutely.
first like 2 arcs and I've been meaning to get into more of it and I just haven't had time, but yeah, I hear great things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good pick. Let's see. Eric says chasing the first Batgirl right now. Yeah, more affordable. That's a good point too. I would love to have that book as well. I mean that cover is iconic, I feel like, for
It's
Batgirl.
actually one of the first major key that's the first major key I was able to grab just because
Oh,
of,
nice.
if you can find a low copy,
Yeah.
um, much more affordable than most
y-
major keys.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Colin says nice pick.
Thank you.
Um Mark says, 2 questions. What did you teach in college? Has reading all these comics inspired you to possibly write your own? So you were saying you're not teaching in college currently.
Yeah,
You're
in high school I
high school
was
you did.
a history teacher.
Okay.
So definitely a lot of reading and writing.
Yeah.
I have thrown out some ideas on paper, but nothing concrete. I did draw a lot of comics as a kid.
Nice.
Um, Probably somewhere around a couple of them left, but no, have not written a full issue or anything like that.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I've definitely had my own share of ideas where I'm like, "Oh, that'd be a cool."
Let me
And
throw
then
them in the Google Doc. Yeah.
yeah. And then like squirrel. Then I like looks and then I forget.
Yep.
I just
Well,
move on.
that also that.
Yeah. Let's see. Uh asked that already. Um what's your favorite comic book run or series that you've read or whether you're currently reading or you've read in the past?
Yeah, my favorite would be Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I think,
Yes, Tom King. Yeah,
yeah, his
amazing.
his writing in general, if you're new to comics, give something a try. Doesn't have to be that one, but I would say, take a step into his writing. Um, I forgot how to say the artist's name. The art from it is just so
Oh,
stunning.
uh,
Um,
yes,
Evelyn Bill, something like that.
yeah. Man, it's like at the tip of my tongue. It is unique. It is a
It is
unique.
unique,
Talking
unique,
about our pronunciations. Yeah, I know who you're
and
talking about.
and names are not my strong suit,
Yeah,
but if you haven't seen it, very unique art style, absolutely gorgeous. And as a huge fan of Supergirl, I think the journey that they take that character on
Mm,
is so interesting and really shows kind of if someone is like all the supers are all the same. I think that one in particular shows kind of deep down what that difference is between Superman and Supergirl and where they come from and how that experience shaped who they are and how they see hope, because I think we kind of see that maybe as just like this overly positive like
yeah.
attribute, and it can kind of come from a darker place, and I think you see that with her character there.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I fell in love with that series the minute it came out, and I've been a Tom King fan for a while. I mean, really since his Batman stuff. And I know he gets flack for some of his Batman stuff with the Catwoman wedding and all that other stuff, but um, I mean, I enjoyed a majority of it. I really did. And then yeah, anything after I've just absolutely loved. Elkis Bevelin or Beverly or something like that. Oh, is it El?
S-
It's something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
I'm waiting for someone to throw in the Bilkis. There it is. Colin says,
Okay.
yeah, Bilkis Evely. Okay, I had it switched
It's me
the wrong
too.
emphasis on the wrong syllable. Yes,
I
and Helen of Windor. I
have issue 1. I gotta find the rest. So I might see if I can get a trade. I don't think that came out yet.
I think it just I think either it just came out or it was about or it's like about to come out. I heard someone else asking for it, and
Oh,
that
okay.
yeah, that's something I was planning to read in trade. I did buy the first issue just because I buy a lot of just issue
Just
ones.
to see how things are. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's them teaming up again. So yeah, that's a good call, Stevie. Definitely want to give that a try at some point. Speaking of from before, we were talking about Cheddar. My man Cheddar Comics in the chat says,
Hey, Cheddar.
what a panel, what a panel. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, Noah brought up King's Mr. Miracle
Another
run.
great
That
one. Like, just
so yeah.
again, if you're new or you haven't read anything by him, just grab one issue.
Yeah, I always hear I that's one I own. I think when Noah's on the show, we had talked about it. I have not been able to read it yet, but I own it, and I've always heard amazing things. Tom King always has like this deeper like level of emotion that hits, and
Hmm.
there's surface stuff, but then it just goes deeper.
I'm
Um,
excited to see what I think he is working with Gunn on
oh, nice.
for
Oh, for
the
the movie,
movie.
yeah, nice,
So I'm
nice.
excited to see that, like, the love of the story and that
Yeah,
will hopefully,
yeah,
kind of push through.
for sure. Have you read the Human Target by Tom King?
I read the first issue, and then let someone borrow my trade. So once
Oh
that
no,
comes back, I'll
fair.
finish it. Yeah,
You'll jump back on it. It's
exactly.
that's
That one's
probably
at least
another
the first issue. Very interesting kind of setup.
yeah, and Greg Smallwood is the artist for that, and I fell in love with the characters and his artwork, and Tom they just did a great job, and that's like another 12 issue like a maxi series. I like that these are buttoned up; they're not like
I do too.
too long, they're digestible, but there's also a lot of meat to it at the same time. So
Mhm.
yeah, very very cool. Glad to hear another Tom King fan in the house. um let's see, Eric says I'd love to get the trade, the super Russell. Yeah, Eric, you definitely should give that a try at some point
Mhm.
whenever you get the opportunity. Oh, another one he highlights, Wonder Woman Dead Earth. That is another great one.
Oh,
Not
I did not know that.
that's not Tom King though, right? Isn't that uh Daniel Warren Johnson, DWJ.
Oh, I have not read, but
All right, he did at least the
I'll
artwork.
be
But
I'll be
you,
writing that one down.
yes, regardless, yeah, you should. That's a really good read as well. Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. Let's see. Four Corner says, "What's the most overhyped comic you ever bought, and did it live up to the buzz or totally flop?" I love
Well,
this question. Four Corners. Thank you. I'm keeping this one for future shows. I love it.
I do really love that. I will say Saga was one that was the most recommended book or storyline
Yeah.
for me to read. 100% lived up to the hype. The world building
Mm.
in the comic, the art, the writing of every character. Like, you think like, who's this guy? They're coming in issue 52. Who are they? And then you fall in love with them, and they're only
Yeah.
in that issue, or I wouldn't get too attached to anybody if you are with me.
That's true.
But
Very true.
I would say I absolutely did. What's one that maybe did flop? I kind of don't know that I've had one that has been super hyped, but one that I had a lot of hope for was the new Dazzler run.
Mm. I haven't
Did
read
not
any
live
of
up
the
to the
new.
hype for me.
No, okay, yeah,
No.
that's fair.
As a huge fan,
Yeah.
not the case.
I have not heard anything really stand out from that particular
Yep.
series from the new X-Men stuff. But I'm also behind on a lot of the X-Men stuff, so
I
slowly
can see
trying to
how that
catch up. Yeah.
that's a lot.
Literally like 5 new books every
Yep.
week.
Yep.
And I'm trying to like remember like, well, how did the last one end and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's fun. It's hard being a comic book reader though, you know.
It is.
You know the life. Colin says that it was the hardcover was released today. That makes sense because someone at my LCS was brought that up and was asking about
Okay,
it,
I'll have to
but
go back to mine and see
they didn't
see
have
if
it.
they can order that for me.
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably, or even just get, if there's a soft cover, I'm good with that too. I do. I mean, I do like hardcover collections. If I can find it, maybe I'll do that. He says, absolute Batman. He says, I joke. Uh,
I've loved the three Absolute series, and
yeah.
surprisingly, I think Superman might be my favorite.
Oh, nice. See, so I haven't read. I've read the first two issues of each one, and I really liked all three. But I decided I'm going to wait till they've. I know they're wrapping up now, or at least the first arc of
The
each one.
first arc, yep.
Yeah. So I'm excited, and I'm not surprised at all for you to say that because I don't know if you've ever read anything from Jason Aaron prior to this, but he's one
Not
of
that
my
I know
favorite.
of.
Oh man, I highly recommend checking out Jason Aaron's stuff. Gore, or sorry, not Gore. I was gonna say Gore the God Butcher. Thor, God of Thunder. His run, he went on. Now, granted, he went on like a 7-year run with Thor. I think it's the
Mhm.
longest that I know of that a writer has done, other than like what Claremont done and everything else. But Jason Aaron is one of my favorite writers of all time, and he's also just a really really nice guy. And I think you would just fall in love with anything that he
I'll
put.
definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll send you recommendations after as far as titles go. But yeah, he very much like Tom King, just somebody else who when I see their name on it, I'm automatically in.
The
And
depth
that's
he's pushed in these
yeah,
issues of Superman is like,
yeah,
oh my god, it just jumped off. If you've gotten through, once you get to issue 4, I would say if even if you're not
okay,
into it, get to
yeah.
issue 4, give that a chance.
Oh, nice, good to know, good to know. Yeah, I love it, love it, love it. Four Corners says thanks. Yep, absolutely. Cheddar says saga over everything. There you go, there you go.
I'm gonna have to agree.
Colin says Superman is the best one. There you go. Yeah, now I have to catch up for sure.
Yeah, didn't
Um,
expect it to be what it is.
and he loves the artwork in Wonder Woman, the absolute Wonder Woman stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
even the
agree.
covers, all that stuff's gotten my attention big time throughout
So,
the
so
last
good.
5 months. Yeah,
They definitely DC put a lot of time and energy in those,
yeah,
and
the teams
I
that they put together.
I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if I was gonna get some of the other characters coming out, and now I'm
mm,
like, okay, should
yeah,
I? Should I? They're not
yeah.
necessarily my favorite characters, and I think I might just to see what's going on.
Yep, yep. It's you've caught the bug now. Now you're
Mhm.
going. It's all you know. It's going to be a great read. It's just going to kill the wallet. That's the only thing.
That
Uh,
was the reason why I was like, I
you're
don't
like,
know
can
that
I
I
skip
have
this?
any Martian Manhunter comics,
Right.
but
Right. Well,
I
I think I mean, perfect example was Human Target. For me, I really wasn't going to. I don't know anything about Human Target.
mhm,
That character, I really knew nothing about, and I know is not necessarily a viewed as a commercialized, popular character by
yeah.
any means. But Tom King was associated to it, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a try, and now it's like one of my favorite series of all time. So
You really don't know.
right, right, and that's how strong like a writer can do, to a character if you've never, given it a try before. So,
Are you
um,
more of a do you lean towards a comic more for the writer on the project rather than the artist or
ooh, good question. Yeah, I think ultimately yes. I'm prioritizing story first. Or in other words, I can get through a book that has amazing writing and terrible artwork versus the other way around.
I agree.
Now that's
For
not to
myself.
say you're right, and that's not to say I will still buy. If it has amazing artwork and that's all it has, I'll still buy it for the
Mhm.
artwork. That won't not stop me from spending money. But just if I had my choice, I genuinely I've noticed at least that a writer, if I see a certain writer's name on it, I'm like, I'm in. Whatever it is,
You'll
I'm
go
in.
down the rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
because I trust them. I trust them with my heart. I trust them with my my
I
emotions
love
because
that.
I
Yes.
yeah, like because they've delivered already before and they know exactly what I want to hear. So a lot of that's just like, yeah, I trust you. Let's go with it. So yeah, definitely go with that. I think of like Scotty Young too. He's another one that I know he's an artist as well, but like his writing is just amazing.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I just didn't I just saw a lot of his cover work, so hadn't expected it, but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally different style,
yeah.
and but he can go deep, like as far as his emotion and everything goes, and character building, and But anyway, so yeah, definitely. That's a good question. I definitely artists. Um, a couple other things here. We got to go. All right, pizza or cake?
Pizza.
There it is. Yep, right answer.
Not
See,
even, not
E-
even thinking.
Eric, we're talking about food here. Eric, this is for you. I don't need to ask this question. I was going to ask you Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy, but we know the answer to that.
I mean, it's close, but
Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've read any Tom Taylor, but I like, since we're talking new, more modern writers, Tom King or Tom Taylor.
I do like both. I'd probably lean King, just
Okay,
because if my he wrote my favorite story, so I gotta give it to him.
fair. That's fair. What about Tom King or Brian K. Vaughan? I got to make these
I'd
tough.
probably have to go Brian K. Vaughan because,
There it is.
again, didn't realize it, but I did happen to grab the trades for his Runaway series way back when the
Mm.
show was on. And my gosh, I think I bought one and then the next day went back to my to an LCS to go grab the second one, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's done. Got to get the next one.
you're in. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, love it. Cheddar says, I think Human Target has had 2 or 3 TV shows. Oddly enough, wow, I had no idea.
I didn't even know about one.
Were they good? I assume not. I don't know. See, there you go, Eric. Yes, food. All right. Well, let's bring up food here for a second. Usually I end with food, but since Eric has been pushing the topic, if it's a Friday night and it's you have complete choice of whatever you want to do for dinner, whether it's you go out to eat, you order in, or whatever with your friends, family, whoever, whatever that looks like. What is your go-to meal when it comes to like a dinner of your choice?
I feel like I'm gonna open up a can of worms here,
Uh-oh.
but
Uh-oh.
I'm from Connecticut. I gotta go with pizza. Um, I really
Yes.
enjoy the sort of New Haven style.
Yes.
But anything New Haven, New York, Sicilian, that like sort of thin crust, crispy, cooked right. Um, I'd love to grab a pizza and hang out. That's kind of my go-to Friday.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well,
Exactly.
when you're in Jersey, you definitely got to get some Jersey pizza because I mean, we're neighbors to New York and it is
Hmm.
damn good down here too.
I
So
freaking bet.
so yeah, I love it. That's awesome. You ever have Frank Pepe's in Connecticut
Yeah.
at like Mohegan? I know they have, I'm sure they have a few
Yep.
locations, but
Love it. Love it. I used to teach too in Cheshire, so that's right next to
mm,
connected, but very close to New Haven. So yeah, I've been there, had that, but really, really good.
yeah, nice,
I'm gonna
nice.
stay away from the clam pizza. That's kind of the one that's
Ooh,
known in
okay.
the area. Not for me.
Not for you.
I'm
Okay.
more of like
Okay.
a pepperoni cherry pepper kind of.
Okay. Clam? Like just like seafood
You
clam?
heard
Okay.
correctly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is that my headphone going on? Interesting. I mean, I don't think I've ever had clam, but I mean, yeah, I'm a pepperoni guy. I don't stray too far away from that. Obviously, plain, I'll always eat. I'll try some chicken bacon ranch, things of that nature
Yeah.
here and there, and I don't mind some other stuff if it's like mushrooms or black olives, things like
Had
that.
one
But
with an eggplant like
ooh,
rotini as like the
ooh,
base layer underneath with some toppings. That was
oh,
pretty
nice. That
freaking
sounds good.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, Chinmo knows. He knows all about the Connecticut Frank Pepe's. If you guys have not had it, whew, it's great. Mark says, I really need, talking about the art. I really need the art to complement the story. Bad art takes it out of the story for me sometimes, especially if the art is sort of abstract. That's fair. I mean, yeah, and to each their own. I just know I feel like I've always been more inspired by, seeing a writer's name on a project over an artist per se.
I'll pull through
Yeah. Yeah.
with the writer
Yeah.
where like I might not love the art and it might like cause me to put something down for a bit, but I'll still, finish it. But
Yeah.
bad story, that
Yeah.
goes in the take that off my pull list pile.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. Are you reading the current Harley Quinn stuff?
Yes, and that's a little bit one where it gets a little more cartoony than
Yeah,
I prefer for myself for style. And that one is one that I put down for a little bit and then pick back up.
Yeah, that was one. And I don't know, is Stephanie Phillips still writing Harley? Is she still on it? Do you know? Or is it someone else now?
I think she's still on it,
Okay.
at least
Um,
through where I was, but
yeah, because it was her and Ross. What's his name? Awesome. Rossimo. Awesimo. I forget how to say his last name.
yeah, and then they wrote
Um.
someone where like Harley Quinn kind of looks like a little rabbit, and
Oh, really? Oh,
not
okay.
my
It just kind of,
my
yeah,
cup of tea.
threw everything off. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. Hey, my man Damien in the chat. Sleepy Reader 666. Hello, hello. All right, let's see. A few more because I know we're just hitting the hour, a little over the hour here. Oh, we have, all right. Maybe this is how we end things because I wanted to ask you, and I know you had this in your description on Instagram, which, by the way, if you guys are not following Kate, make sure you do so. Her information is down below. You're a big fan of concerts. You had mentioned that you're a big fan of concerts. Tell me, before we actually even get into concerts, first let me know, do you have a favorite artist or favorite band? Is there someone to you that's just like an automatic top of the list, or a top, two, if you had to, put two up there? Who comes to mind for you?
Um, I mean, if you have not been to a Lady Gaga concert, the what she puts on, I
Yes.
100% recommend.
Yes,
But
true
probably my
entertainer.
favorite artist to see, I just got tickets for her next concert, is Halsey,
Oh
for
yeah,
an
okay.
artist who puts like a lot of soul into it, and from like a an artist perspective, every single detail of you're gonna see and hear. Um, has put on some of the coolest things, and as an artist, tries to make sure the tickets are not
Oh,
too
nice.
crazy.
That's good.
She's actually canceled tickets before
Oh wow.
because they went on resale for
Like,
like 5 times what they
massive
were or
amount. Yeah.
more, and you
Yeah.
had to go pick them up.
Oh wow. Okay.
So bots can't do that.
Wow, that's a good idea. That's a
And
good, I mean, I haven't really seen that before, but that's a good idea. Just,
yep,
yeah, I mean, I think of Lady Gaga tickets, typically they're a reasonable price, but then the scalpers just like completely kill
100%,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a cool, that's different. Maybe more people do that, what she's doing. So
Mhm.
but yeah, very cool. So okay, so great artists. I'm a big Gaga fan. We talked about this at the very beginning, but yeah, definitely, she's a true entertainer. I could watch anything that she does. She's an actress, she's a singer, she's a writer, she's everything. So good. Love her movies and everything. What So let's talk about concerts now. What is what is like your, do you have like a memorable or most like favorite concert you've ever gone to?
Yes, I'm a little bit nuts about concerts in the same way I am now with comics. I will travel. I was able to get very, very cheap tickets. My best friend, when we got out of college, went to work for AmeriCorps
Okay.
and was in Florida for the year. During the time that Gwen Stefani, who I had not been able to see live, just growing up, my favorite band is No Doubt, and I
Nice.
was like, all right, we gotta. Both of us really love her concerts, and when she was traveling back to the Northeast at the end of the year, her travel was like on the opposite schedule of when Gwen Stefani was coming to the area. So she
Oh.
was going to miss her completely.
Hmm.
And I found very cheap tickets in Missouri. And had just bought a new car. Or well, not a new car. I just bought a car.
Yeah. New to you, yeah.
Yeah, new to me.
Yeah.
What is it, like a Buick LeSabre?
Nice,
And we
nice.
drove to Missouri to see this Gwen
Wow,
Stefani concert.
amazing.
Neither of us had seen her live, and drove back like a bunch of maniacs, listening to No Doubt and Gwen Stefani CDs in the car the whole
That's
way there in
amazing.
like 2016. So
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
awesome. That's so
yeah,
cool. I mean, well, and I mean, the fact that you did this road trip adds on to
exactly.
the
We hadn't seen
experience,
each other
right?
for a year.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it was absolute so much fun.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Like, yeah, I've never done like a road trip per se to see, to see a concert like that, but I really like the idea of it because, well, one, the way it adds on to your story, like your memories with your friend or whoever you're going with, and then on top of that, like you're jamming out to the music the whole time, like which is like it's just
Oh,
perfect.
yep.
So and then you have like the ride back for all that stuff, so just kind of
Exactly.
talking about it, yeah, so that's really cool. So all right, very cool. Yeah, I love it. I'm a big concert fan myself. Try to go to at least 4 to 6 concerts a year. I feel like or maybe even more at this point I think about it, but yeah, the experiences are always fun. So that's what I got to travel a little more
What's
to
been your
add.
favorite artist to see live?
Ooh, man, that's so tough. For me, I feel like man, that's so tough. um it's really hard. Like I'm a big John Mayer fan.
He's always
And
got a good performance.
yeah, he's an entertainer, and he's someone who I had never I like prejudged and never got into his music prior to that. And until I met my wife, she was always a big fan. She started to play his music around me. We went and saw him together, and I just fell in love with everything and anything that he writes now. I absolutely get listen to and pick up. But so he's up there. I also saw like I'm a big metalhead too. I like Mastodon. I like uh, Opeth, and I like this band Death Clock from a cartoon show called Metalocalypse from like 10 plus years ago, for anybody
That's
who watched
awesome.
from Adult Swim. Yeah. And it was just one guy. He wrote a show called Metalocalypse, and it's about a metal band. It's almost a mockery of metal in a way. And he ended up bringing the band to life in a sense, where he got backup guitarists and drummers, and he went on tour. Like the writer went on tour, and he actually toured with my favorite band Mastodon. So they were together, and they went back to back, and in New York. This was, I mean, 15 plus years ago. And I actually
Yeah,
I got backstage. Not I didn't get passes. I knew the sound engineer. I knew, and he got us backstage both nights, so I got to hang out with them, and that was just a really really amazing time. And
that's an. I mean,
yeah,
that
that
person's journey and then yours. Both of those are
yeah, it was like
very cool.
so perfect. Yeah, and I mean, you wonder if you've ever watched. It's a cartoon, so it's like anyone's like, how did you see that band? They're not real, like, but they actually did like make a show, and it was like on projected on a screen, and he did the voices, and he would like be shadowed, so you couldn't see him, and all you could see was, he would just act out the story as it went, and then he would, you could
Yeah,
see him too later. But it was really creative, very different. And so yeah, that for me probably got to be a highlight. I'm sure I'm gonna think of like 5 other things later.
later be
i'm
like,
gonna i'm
oh,
gonna message you, Kate. I'm gonna be like, well, you know what, Kate, this other time was also very cool. I saw this other person. Like, it's just, yeah, there's so many. But yeah, so very cool. Kate, I appreciate you being here and taking the time. These are all the questions I had for you tonight. Before I let you go, and before everybody signs off, why don't you let the people know, do you have anything coming up, any shows that you want to highlight, anything that you recommend them going to see in your schedule coming up here?
yeah. We talked about the book club earlier.
Yeah.
Chat with me on Instagram. And if you're interested in that, let me know. Like I said, we're kind of in the works and how that'll look. Um, I also am one of the founders and hosts on the Comic Underground. I'll be hosting tomorrow night with Palm's Funny Books. So if you want to check out some cool books and just kind of hang out and chat, you can follow me there. And then Friday, I will be hosting one of the kind of like mini shows that we do called Off the Rack, where we talk about primarily new comic book day releases and sort of what everybody's been reading. And we'll have a little group chatting about that. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Schedule's busy. I like to
Yeah.
see it. And yeah, like I said, shout out to your crew, the Comic Underground. For those who don't, I didn't get a chance to add it, but I'll add the link in the description below. But if you guys are not following that page as well, I'm sure you can find it on Kate's page if you go there. Definitely. I mean, you guys are doing shows constantly, and it's a fun hangout. Great vendors that you introduce, a lot of great books
Thank you.
I've bought from you guys several times. And then on top of that, like you said, even if you don't want to spend money per se and you just want to come hang out, it's just a good time.
That's
So
really how I started was would join
Yeah.
something and just be like, hey,
Yep.
why do
Yep.
you have that book? Or, what's kind of
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, totally. So I love it. I love everything that you guys are doing over there. And Kate, just keep doing your thing because yeah, just love your fandom and just bringing the community together the way that you are. Really love it. And I look forward to the club, the book club, as well. So yeah, for everybody, I see. Everyone that's been hanging out, we appreciate you guys hanging for a while. I saw some other answers. B52s or Kiss was great. Side Quest said
Oh,
from
man, I bet both of
earlier.
those are freaking amazing.
Yeah, Huey Lewis in the news. He says, "I'm old." You're not
Well,
old, Eric. You're not old, Eric.
Eric, I did see a cover band of Huey Lewis in the news
There you go.
when
See,
I was also watching a Madonna cover performer. So don't worry,
there you
gotta love
go. Close
the
enough.
80s.
Yeah, you got the experience there. Halsey is a Jersey native. I had no idea.
Mhm.
Conlon says Conlon listens to some good music too. He and I have talked it out. Some Brian Fallon goodness. If anybody follows Brian Fallon, Four Corners. Thanks so much. We appreciate you hanging out. Everybody that's in the chat, we really appreciate it. Make sure again that you're subbed up, that you're following Kate. Put her link in the description below. I will be back in 2 weeks. So I think 2 weeks. Let me check my schedule again. What's today? The 5th. I can't believe it's March
Oh my
already.
gosh, yeah, that's true.
Um yeah. Oh wait. Oh, I have things messed up because now I have you on for the 19th, but it's but it was the 5th. All right, and I gotta sit. Now I gotta find all my conversations. I will be back in 2 weeks, the 19th. I gotta confirm my guests. But yeah. Otherwise, we appreciate everybody. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. And until next time, we will talk to you later. Peace.